Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leif Juergensen. I'm with Schneider Electric. I'm a global business developer for our automation offer. And I have the honor today to present to you a real-world application of a hydrogen plant that we did with our customers, WILO, in Germany. It was a bold step for these guys to literally activate their own mind and make a decision how to make energy management and automation scalability for their own electricity production in their own green field. Let me tell you a little bit about our partner WILO. It's a German pump manufacturer. And as a pump manufacturer, they decided that they wanted to build a greenfield factory in the western part of Germany. So they put together 5,000 square meters of roof with a whole bunch of solar panels providing solar energy to their own production. But when you put 3,700 solar panels on a roof, you actually have the problem of volatility fluctuations on your grid. And your grid provider, your own production, doesn't really like that. So they had the idea to take the peak production of the solar energy and to convert that into hydrogen. And instead of going with one of the known suppliers in the market, they actually decided to build that and to design that by themselves. So they ventured out and find suppliers for batteries, suppliers for the electrolyzers, fuel cells and all that. Internally, they had the know-how how to build the overall system, but they partnered with Schneider Electric back in 2020 to do the automation and power management of the whole system. So as you can see on the slides, there is 228 kilowatts of hydrogen production, so inrush of the solar system. And they are just creating a little bit more than 500 kilos of hydrogen. That is small scale, right? But it's small scale on purpose. Because what they wanted to do is just to shave the volatile part of the PV production, store that energy for later, and it turned out that hydrogen is the smartest way of storing the energy. So we partnered with WILO to create that technology. So what they are doing is they can take any kind of input energy, being it wind, being it solar, being it other sources of energy. We have a little bit of battery storage where we actually feed in the energy. And then from there we take it, put it to the electrolyzers and create the hydrogen in a very volatile modulated part. From the electrolyzers, fun fact, we store the hydrogen in a tank. But we use the oxygen to make the air more breathable. So basically they just release it to the wild. When the energy now is demanded by the factory or by the cost of overall energy in the market, they use fuel cells from the market to convert the hydrogen back to electricity. That obviously comes with some thermal losses, because fuel cells, they are producing a lot of heat. So what they did in the containers, they actually implemented a heat exchanging system that extracts the heat from the overall system and brings it back to their own factory as process heat, increasing the efficiency of the overall system. And they are using that energy for their own HVAC systems and for their own production. Now, there are many use cases where this technology also could be used to create the hydrogen for using the hydrogen in different ways, maybe for mobility or stuff like that. But they decided only to focus on cutting the energy bills. And the way we did that as Schneider Electric is we implemented together with WILO, this WILO power plant at their sites. We implement a smart grid management that takes care about the inrush of the PV system, how much of the electrolyzers we actually have to balance over the next 15 minutes with a predictive system using AI in the cloud. We are also participating actively in the energy market by scanning the energy prices on a 15 minutes rate. And on a 15 minutes rate, we decide how much of the energy we actually buy from the grid or how much energy we supply using the fuel cells from the stored hydrogen system. When you have a little bit of time and you are interested in some of details of how this hydrogen plant actually is built, you are more than welcome to visit us at A110. Have a look for me or my PC, and you will see this 3D walkthrough, which unfortunately I cannot present in its full glory here. I only can have a little bit of slides here. But you will see that there are two containers containing, in a very modular approach, all the technology needed to convert the photovoltaic energy into hydrogen and back to electricity on small scale. They also allowed us to actually get into the containers and see what's going on inside. So for example, on the upper container, we have a very small water treatment section where they take rainwater in order to create the water that is used for the electrolyzers. Then in the back, in the middle of the slide, you see 95 individual electrolyzers. They are very small, but they are small and many on purpose. Because of the fact that your energy inrush might be modulating a lot over time, we can now, in an easy way, scale how many electrolyzers we are actually using for the conversion of the power to the hydrogen. In the lower container, so if we just go one set down on the stairs, we will see that there's a heat exchanging system that I just mentioned. But also very way in the back, you see this little blue rig. These are the fuel cells. The fuel cells take the energy and make electricity and water. That water is again going back to the same recycling and using it for the future. But in the middle, we also have a bunch of batteries that are buffering the inrush, but also a bunch of batteries that are actually taking care about the electricity coming from the fuel cells to buffer and harmonize that. Now we are using Schneider Electric smart grid management to identify the energy cost, identify and learn with an AI the production and the usage, the consumption of the energy of the factory over the time of a year. We are doing a weather forecast anticipating the energy provided by the solar system, and according to that mix of information, we now decide how much energy we are taking from the solar systems, converting that into hydrogen, or vice versa, making electricity to shave the cost of the purchased electricity from the grid. We as Schneider Electric, we provided all the microgrid management system with a microgrid advisor and the operations, where the operations is that part that takes the decision of when and how to buy the energy on the market and what and how to supply by the own production of the photovoltaic system. The other part that I wanted to point your interest to is we were using the next generation of control systems to manage the overall orchestration of the factory. The product is called EcoStruxure Automation Expert, and it is a new way of doing automation using the mindset of IT people, bringing in the knowledge of the cloud and AI, but also being able to run on a variety of different platforms. So the automation solution can run on PCs, on PLCs, on DCSs, in the cloud, on Docker, on Windows, on Linux, wherever you want. And the beauty of that system is that it's not vendor locked. We actually created an open automation platform, and that's why we wanted to highlight to this audience that using the management systems is bringing one value, but bringing actually an open automation platform changes the game, because you're now not locked to any vendor anymore. Even with Schneider Electric providing the complete automation system, we want operations and users of automation platforms to have a choice in the future. You can choose the architectures and you can choose the hardware you need. You can select whether you run on servers or on other hardware, including our own control systems, but also of the selection of many other systems. So it's not our own automation platform as shown here. We actually open our access to the broad market and also accepting our competitors' platforms to run the automation platform. On top of that, all that is connected to our software layers, where Schneider Electric, as one of the leading companies in software for the industrial space, is putting our money where the AI sits and where the knowledge sits. The factory itself is now automated by an automation platform that does the logic which you expect from an automation platform, but it also manages the SCADA system, it manages the energy, it brings in the AI, and all that based on a programming that is coming with the mindset of the IT people and no longer with the mindset of electricians like standard PLCs. I encourage you to have a look to what we are doing with universalautomation.org. Visit our booth at A110 and see what we can do in terms of software, simulation, automation, and energy management. The idea behind that open automation system is literally to create a complete new ecosystem of vendors and users that are participating in the automation world, basing that technology on virtualized control, running on servers, and creating digital continuity from the planning of P&IDs until you finally have your data and historian and analytics with everything, including the automation in between. To create these benefits, it was really cool for our customer that they figured out not only that the implementation of their proof of concept of the power plant is financially viable. They actually figured out that it's commercially, technically, and financially so viable that they founded a division in WILO now selling the power plants as a commercial offer. That economical performance and sustainability is driving the decision of WILO to move into the hydrogen market as a supplier, but also to partner even with bigger players in the market to scale up from the systems that today are doing a couple of 100 kilowatts up to multiple megawatts. And we are really looking together with our partner WILO in making a change in the world. And the good thing is, this is no longer a dream, because this implementation has been in place since 2022 and consistently delivering commercial and technical results to us and our suppliers. So, coming back to our invitation, I really want you to join us at A110 and see how Schneider Electric is adding value to the complete value chain of hydrogen production and diving deep into the example how we did that with WILO and how we are paving the way for a strong partnership with other players in the market. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and I'm really excited to see you at our booth, and I'm very, very happy to see you next year. Thank you.